Hello, everyone. Welcome to All Things Cinema podcast. We had to be here tonight because yesterday we happened to watch my favorite Malayalam film of the year. I don't know about Farad, but it has definitely surpassed Nanpakal Nerithumayakam. It has surpassed all other films that I really loved. And we didn't just watch the film, we happened to just come across a chance at a film companion front row, where we got an invite for the screening. We happened to have then a little bit of an intimate Q&A session with the cast and crew. We met our one of the favorite actors, Tovino, and many others as well there. And you might have seen all that in our community posts as well. So yeah, life sometimes throws surprises at you and gives you lemon. You even if you cannot make a lemonade, you make something resembling a lemonade, and that's what we hoped with the opportunity yesterday. And that's what I think is the message with this film as well, that when there is a story about Kerala, let it be 2018 and not the Kerala story. Let it be about love, compassion, empathy, and not about hate and propaganda. So thank you, Farad, for not just joining today but joining me yesterday as well, on that amazing experience. So first of all, I would let you give your opening uh, words as well.
I mean, last evening was surreal, wasn't it? I mean, it was something that dreams are made of. It came out of nowhere. I mean, I remember talking on my channel. I had made a video yesterday on Corona Papers saying that at the end of that video, if you see, I had put out a message that I am still not sure whether I'm watching 2018 or not because we did not have a plan B.
Yeah.
We actually went in, took a chance, literally took a chance, and it did get paid. And how, it was one memorable evening out of nowhere, and that is something that I was actually, in fact, I've also said it in my video, which I put out a while back on my channel, Popcorn Reviews, that I was actually disappointed at not getting tickets for the film on Sunday. I was originally planning to watch it on Sunday evening for a video on Monday. And that did not happen because I didn't get the tickets. It was running full in the limited shows that were there in Bombay, in Mumbai. And
I think that did not happen because the universe wanted you to meet Tovino, Asif, and Tanvi and the director Jude, everybody. So that's why it didn't happen.
But here I would also like to say a huge thank you to Keshav, because Keshav, I had not seen the post of Film Companion. It was Keshav who had seen, and he put out a message saying, "Do you want to go? Do you want to take a chance?" Initially, I was like, "Oh, I'm working, maybe," but then I said, "Yeah, let's take a chance." And we still didn't know till the very last minute whether we are getting the tickets or not, because it was a first come first serve. And if there were more registrations, and if you're not on time, then it may not have happened. But yeah, everything, as they say, fell in place, and it made
Yeah,
for a memorable evening and a memorable film as well. The film was
yeah.
outstanding.
The first thing that really, really impressed me was the fact that people in Mumbai, okay, this was not a South Center, this is Mumbai, and the film was playing in Malayalam with English subtitles, of course. So, what really impressed me the most was, for a Malayalam film, in a place like Mumbai on a Tuesday afternoon, by the way, for people to come in numbers and to give that kind of an attention that the film deserves. I think that was probably the cherry on the cake. And then another thing which really caught my attention was, if you remember, after the film there was a standing ovation, literally, with with
Wow.
with a never ending applause for the
You
whole
know,
team that was present there. And that that kind of spoke volume, of the impact the film had in those 2.5 hours on the people sitting there in that Audi last evening. So now let's dig deep into the film. I saw your review, and let's first start from the beginning itself. There's a reason why everybody on their thumbnails or on their title, there's a reason why people are calling this as the real Kerala story or the true Kerala story.
Unanimous, isn't it? Everyone, every YouTuber that I have watched reviewing this film has said this is the real Kerala story. That
And
is, I think, one common tagline that is there
and
everywhere.
it's not just even the YouTubers, but when the film came out, on my previous videos or on my community posts, people from my subscribers, they started asking me, when are you going to review 2018, the real Kerala story? So
Ah,
it's not just the YouTubers who are doing this, or Malayalis across the world who know that, you know this is the Kerala that we know. This is the Kerala the world should know. Yes, granted that there are bad apples everywhere. The things that have been shown in the Kerala story might be true to some extent, okay, but the way it has been exaggerated, the way it has put some extra masala just to gain the attention, or to get more box office collection or whatever. That's what I said. That's why I said at the beginning of this podcast that, you know when life gives you lemon, make a lemonade. So when life gives you an opportunity to tell a story about Kerala, God's own country, make a 2018, not the Kerala story. And even if they had to make the Kerala story, I think it was not the right decision to name the film the Kerala story, because it kind of then puts bad light across the state. Like it kind of categorizes all the people from that state, or all the Muslims for that matter from that state. So for me, the title was also a problem. But anyway, we are talking about 2018 and why that is the true Kerala story. So uh, people have also joined us. Thank you, Bifer. Thank you, Ahmad, who says yes. So Ahmad is saying everywhere there is a standing ovation at the end. Many scenes for execution, and yes, absolutely. And the fact that the film starts with a tagline called "Everyone is a hero." So that is a big difference between that is the main reason also why we want to speak and discuss more about this film. And that's what even Tovino at the end, if you remember, he said word of mouth is everything for us. The more you spread out the good word, the more this film will do well, because we don't have the budgets that's required for promotion. So over to you, Farad.
yeah, just to pick on that Tovino point that you said, just to enunciate it little further, the thing that he also said was that it's important to, watch Malayalam films in a theater, which will actually help the cast and crew. If you're watching it eventually on OTT, it still doesn't. It might still grab eyeballs, but it still doesn't translate into the footfalls that the Malayalam industry desperately wants.
Yeah.
And that is something that he had enunciated. And coming to this weekend, I think it was a weekend of contrasting films.
Mm-hmm.
Two films that did catch the eyeballs. One was definitely the Kerala story, and the other was 2018. And contrasting emotions as well. One was just making it sensational. It was grabbing eyeballs. It was promoting sensationalism without any documented proof. There was no proof, and that needed proof to make such claims. Plus, the writing was weak, and I would only talk about the film. The film was poorly written and poorly directed. But on the other hand, the contrasting uh, review is also that the 2018, the Malayalam film 2018, which is the real Kerala story, was actually technically well made also.
Yep.
It had all the right kind of emotions despite a generic template for a disaster film. And that is something that was absolutely stunning. I mean, I remember it was a 2.5 hour film,
Mm.
and I did not feel it at all. I did not look at my watch at all. You were sitting right next to that
No, no, no. Yeah, and one more thing that I would like to add here. It's such an insightful thing, and I think people won't get to hear this on any other channel because we were there at the screening yesterday. You know, everybody loved the film, and everybody knows it's a well executed film. Everything looks brilliant in every aspect, every department technically, and yet, just look at the dedication of the makers. The director yesterday told us there that for the OTT they're still working on the film.
yeah,
They still want to better what
the
we saw
VFX.
in the theater. Yeah, he said the VFX company that we have hired, they're still working on the effect so that nobody can take a screenshot on OTT and claim that, oh, this looks fake or that looks bad. So look at the dedication in the in people who are a part of this team, who are so much for the content, and for the technicalities of the film, rather than the I mean. So that's where I think this film also deserves a little bit more than it's getting right now, because of the sheer dedication of these people. Somebody, I think, asked the question as well to the makers yesterday, that what is it that makes Malayalam cinema so different from other industries? Because in the last few years, the kind of content that we have seen, the content driven films that we have seen, what is it that makes you so different? Like Anupama Chopra literally said that, what do you guys smoke?
Secret sauce. What is the secret sauce?
And that's where, Tovino also said that, our salaries are a small percentage of the film's
He
budget.
said
We
he said
don't
1/7. He said 1/7 of the
Yeah,
promotion budget of the Hindi film.
yeah. So he said that we don't do this for money, we do this for storytelling, we do this for the love of art. And
Yeah,
that's the differentiating factor, and that was so much visible in 2018 and so many other films that we have seen in the last couple of years and reviewed on our channels. That, you know like how you said, that Kerala Story looks like a low budget production kind of half cooked thing, and the difference is so visible. So let's take a super chat. Wow, super chat. Thank you, Shelly. She said, I cannot find this movie. Is it playing in California?
it's going
Yes.
to release this weekend on the 12th of May. I think that's what the crew said.
Yeah,
That they're trying to release it.
I
Yeah,
think coincidentally enough, they actually talked about this yesterday, that they were trying to get a release in LA,
yeah.
and across the states. So I don't know. Maybe you'll get lucky soon. But even if it's if you won't get it, I'm sure it'll be on some OTT very soon. I think they were talking about Sony Live, if I'm
It
not
is
wrong.
Sony Live. It is Sony Live.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So let's take another comment. So Ahmed says the beauty is that the hate film was negated by a positive film, and luckily and coincidentally it released on the same day.
What a
I mean,
beautiful comment here.
yeah. I mean, Farad, just imagine uh, what kind of a amazing coincidence is this, that both the films released on the same day. One shows one side of the coin, the other shows other side of the coin. But the thing is, I loved something that you also picked out in your review, that in this film there was no religion angle.
Yeah,
Yes, there was, the majority of the people in that area or town of Kerala were Christians, but it was never,
enunciate.
yeah, it was never about like Christian versus others. It was about, humanity. And the other on the other hand, the other film is, it has that versus kind of, in capital letters. So that's where I think this film also differentiates from the other one.
It did not. So what I feel is that it did not manipulate the emotions. The emotions were automatically flowing in the film. It
Yeah.
did not manipulate it in any way, thinking that, oh, this is this, I'll do this so that the audience feels something. It is not riling up the emotions like the other film did.
Yeah.
And that should have actually been a personalized story as well, because this can happen to anyone across
Mm.
the globe.
Yeah.
Just digressing from the topic, but yeah, coming back to 2018 though, 2018, it was a typical Malayalam film with a little bit of a context and slight, you've watched a lot of Malayalam films also now. So all Malayalam films now that I have watched, most of them rather, have a sense of world building that is there. So much so that
Yeah.
now I think we have got used to the world building, and if it's not there in any film, we start criticizing it. We will
Yeah.
spoil it.
and
And
and and how beautifully in the beginning they build that world when he describes everything to Indran's character, the blind man. I mean, that
and
was such a beautiful way of building that world.
that opening premise that was there, I remember just whispering in your ear that I think Zabardast sequence is what I said, which means a brilliant sequence. That the C1 that was there, in
Yeah.
which the fishermen were getting rescued right at the
Yeah.
beginning. I
Yeah.
think that was a phenomenally choreographed sequence. I mean, I did not feel that that was VFX at all. In fact, I had also mentioned it in my review that the patter of rain was there right throughout the film. It was a
Mhm.
prominent character, and I think you can talk about it a little more, considering your sense of music would be better
Oh
than
yeah,
me.
yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
It The decibel levels were
Yeah, no, no.
increasing.
And yeah, and the fisherman thing that you mentioned, and it looked so well done, and yet they want to better those things. Like there was a lot of VFX
Absolutely,
involved in that. So if you remember, it's kind of like that scene in PS1, where there is a huge war in the sea with those ships.
the
This
end.
one, kind of looked kind of better in terms of VFX, and like
Yes,
that
yes.
you couldn't point out that some you couldn't point out any error or something like that, and yet they want to better it in the OTT version. So that's like that says a lot. uh, Now coming to the way you said the world building thing. So this film also kind of reminded me of Malyan Kunya last year when Fahad Fazil did that film, and I absolutely loved that theatrical experience as well. uh, my favorite film from last year. uh, I mean, Malayalam industry just knows how to make disaster films. I'm not saying disaster film, that is the other one. But the genre, the disaster genre. I mean, they have such a good grip on this genre that we have seen a couple of real good ones, and I think this one takes the cake because. So another little trivia that we got to know yesterday is the film started in 2018 or
Mm,
19, I think. The production
thank you.
started in 2019, and then the pandemic happened, and then for 2-3 years nothing happened. The film got stalled and delayed, and some producers left, and nobody had faith in this one, or apart from the director who knew that he could execute this. Even Tovino himself said that I was also not sure earlier, but the director said there is a technique, we can pull this off. And I think it was the director's conviction that really got everybody on board. And the producer told us that the budget was increased many folds, and he was also kind of wary of getting that budget higher and higher, but eventually he saw the quality that he was investing in, and he was okay with. And now you can see the results, the dividends. uh, let's take a comment. Vivek says, WTF is Kerala Story. Even a Kerala doesn't know Kerala Story movie, man. Our state people don't like discrimination. It won't work here. We understand politics more than you. No, I mean, look, I've heard that it's still not banned in Kerala, if I'm not wrong. And the thing is that people are letting it play, but they're not going there to watch it. I'm sure
In fact,
the footfalls are very, very less from the local people for Kerala Story, if I'm not wrong.
actually, the theater owners have decided not to release the film. That is the situation. It's not banned as such, but the theater owners have
Yeah,
collectively
because
decided in
because
Kerala and Tamil Nadu.
people won't watch it, right? Because it kind of puts a blemish on the identity of people from Kerala, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
people will not relate to it, or people will not want to be able to tagged as somebody who identifies as somebody who because I mean, we'll make another video
I
on Kerala
I
Story
just
versus
wanted to I
2018.
just wanted to say one thing on this topic also, just a 30-second comment that. I have visited Kerala not once, not
Hmm.
twice, but thrice. Once
Oh.
in school, once in college, and once when I was working. My sister got married in Kerala, in Kochi. And that is when I had made a trip in 2017, 6 years ago, in this month of May only. And it was one of my most memorable trips that was there. The people were friendly. We were talking, despite not knowing the language properly. It was a beautiful, it is actually God's own country. And to actually see a film which is blemishing, yeah, it might happen to some people. Okay. It's not that it completely, I am disregarding that, but to target only one state, I think that is where the
Yeah.
propaganda sets in, and that
No,
is
I mean,
wrong.
look,
It can happen to anyone,
it can
anyone
happen
across
to
the globe.
anyone. See, I can still cut them some slack why they talked about Kerala, because we all know that there are maybe comparatively more cases from there in this regard than other states. But again, I'm repeating that fact that to name it the Kerala story, I think for me that was the because on the it's based on true incidents. We all know that that case is still going on, and the that female is still imprisoned. But they could have easily named it the Shalini Unni Krishnan story, for that matter. But to
Hmm,
name it the Kerala story, of course, then there will be backlash from people from Kerala, because nobody wants to identify themselves as a part of that, right?
that was
It's
the
it's
purpose.
it's it's God's own country, for God's sake. uh, so anyway,
Okay,
coming
anyway.
back to, we'll do another video on the comparisons, but coming back to the film we watched yesterday. And so 18 people are watching. Again, thank you for the support. If you could press the like button, it will help us reach more and more supportive people like you, and people who loved this film, or people who should watch this film who haven't yet. I'm sure we can help them get some awareness about this film, as word of mouth is everything, as Tovino also said yesterday. So coming back to the film, now the ending. I mean, people who have seen the film. The ending was so heartbreaking, and
So,
I even asked the director, "Sir, did you have any alternate ending in mind?" Or even Anupama Chopra asked about the same, and he said, "No. Otherwise, then we won't have a proper end. Like a cinematic end that's required. We won't have that." So, were you in favor of that, or were you expecting that, or do you think that's just a Malayalam thing? Happy endings are not something that they are so inclined towards.
yeah, Malayalam films don't believe in. I think they're more realistic. They're more practical as opposed to cinematic way of viewing cinema. Also, like not necessarily every film should have a happy ending. I think that is what they follow, and absolutely. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it. I'll be lying if I say I was expecting the way the film did end, but it was heartbreaking. And
Hmm.
I think that is the sentiment that the director wanted to, put out. And that
Yeah.
was the emotion that he wanted the audience to stay with, to the emotion that would linger on after the film. And
Hmm.
I think it will be not wrong to say that we, both of us, did shed a tear also.
Yeah.
And I it was almost like it was a feeling of hollowness. It was numbness. Even if you're looking at a larger picture, when they were showing the frames of destruction, the
Hmm.
devastation that the floods had caused, and those were real images, some of them,
Yeah.
and that's something that was devastating. I remember in 2005 there was a Mumbai floods, and I know the situation, how bad it was. The Kerala one was thrice as bad as that. Thrice as bad.
I was in Chennai in 2015 when the floods happened there, and I think around 300 people had died, if I'm not wrong, at that time as well. Luckily, I was in an area which was not as flooded, but so we have been at some point in that sort of a situation. And to show it as good as they did, I mean, kudos to the whole team.
Absolutely.
Ahmed has put a comment. Dhruv Rati has put up a video regarding the number of cases and truth of these cases related to Kerala story. It's out and out propaganda. Look, again, we wanted to talk more about 2018, but this is the okay. Just finish that topic with this comment. I think the number in the case in point here is 32,000, right? That's the number that people are talking. And the director was challenged that how could you come up with that number, and he said something like 3,200 cases were reported in 2010, and he just took the liberty of putting his whatever mathematics he could, and he just multiplied it by 10 for the from 2011 to 2021, and that's how he came up with 32,000. I mean, you have to be an actual stupid to do that kind of conversion, because even if it happened at that time, even if it was 3,200 in 2010, could you not bring this important fact into consideration that what if the state and the authorities are working towards getting this number down? What if the numbers have gone down after that, right? It's not like this will keep happening at the same rate every
No,
year
it
for
was not documented. Absolutely not documented.
yeah,
That we should put a full stop to this. It was not documented,
yeah.
and
It's absolutely stupid to just do just for the sake of
leave that also. Leave that also. I think the film was poorly made. It was written poorly, executed poorly. Anyone
yeah,
who understands
acted
cinema would
poorly.
know that.
Oh my god, the Malayalam accent, it was
Nobody
so
talks like that.
fake. Nobody. They literally. I was like, I have so many Malayali friends. My house owner is a Malayali. We meet almost every Sunday to play cricket, and I have never ever in my life
Absolutely.
forget a Malayali. I've never heard anybody say "makeup" for makeup. Nobody. Like, not even somebody who doesn't even know English. He or she would also say makeup, not makeup. That was, and another thing which I don't know how they could miss that huge blunder. If you remember one of the scenes where there's a terrorist organization having a recorded video message for them, and like one goon and two guys standing in the background, and he just has a couple of sentences. In the same sentence, at one point he says bhasa and then he says bhasha. I was like, how can, I mean, so many people are involved in a film, such a huge cast and crew. If me, if me or anybody could, point it out in a single listening at the first viewing, how could you let it pass? And there were another couple of such mistakes that they did. I mean, talk,
I just want to say one thing though.
yeah.
On the other side, that I mean, let's, all of us. I think your channel also stands for the same ideologies as my channel.
Hmm.
So I think we can all of us, all the family members that are there here, that we can stick to. Let's not embrace hate. Let's spread love. It's okay. They've made the film. We know it is not right. It's all right. There is a counter for that, which is 2018 film. So I
Yeah.
think we can talk about that now and leave the negativity aside. It's
and
okay.
and
They made the film, and
and
whoever's
and
made it agreed it's fine. No problem.
and this is God's own country, and this could be God's own plan that both the films happen to be on the same day.
Yeah, yeah,
That's how universe works. I mean, there is an antidote for the Kerala story, right?
yeah.
So that's the point. That's what the point is. Even if there are a few cases or a few people like that in that state, doesn't mean everybody's like that. I couldn't imagine that they didn't show a single good or normal or humanized Muslim character in that film. Everybody was villainous and venomous, spitting venom. They even if you're making a film, you should balance it out, right? You should have a neutral perspective. You should not be leaning towards one side. Anyway,
It
getting
really
back to the
fired up.
film,
And yeah,
Ahmed says which scenes you guys enjoyed the most. So I'm sure he's talking about 2018. Let's
yeah, yeah.
get
20. So I think there were a couple of scenes that really did stand out for me. One, and in fact, I'll name three scenes that are there. One was the finale scene that was there, and that I really liked. The underwater shots that were there, very well taken. The second one was that helicopter scene that was there. I think
Hmm.
that itself was very well executed. And as I said, the earlier one that I was talking about, the premise one in which the fisherman was saved. I think that entire choreography and the way the camera pans, it was actually as if you are there in the thick of things. And I think those were brilliantly executed scenes. Absolutely no doubt. Technically, this film was outstanding. I cannot point anything wrong.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, the list is so long. Like, if you begin, I was so impressed by the opening credits and the commentary that's there. Like how they set up everything for us with just for us the subtitles, of course, but with Malayali dialogues. When couple of journalists or news readers were talking, and they were like, all that happened so many years ago. Now the infrastructure is this or that. It cannot happen in Kerala again. And boom, suddenly, uh, this comes across. So for starters, I mean, the start was so impactful with that commentary.
Right.
And
So
after that, when we get to that scene where Anoop is describing what's happening around in that world to the blind man.
it's
I mean, that was again such a well. First of all, it's one thing to execute it, and another to first come up with that idea. So that was absolutely beautiful, and I I was literally thinking, what could they possibly achieve with telling us that Anoop had an army background, and later on, with that with the rescue operation, it all came handy. And how, if you remember in that scene when he's signaling to the people up in the helicopter, if he was not an army guy, probably they wouldn't have understood his signals as well. So that how they connect things, something that they show in the beginning and then connecting those dots later in the film in the second half. So that was lovely as well.
it was
Another thing which literally gave me goosebumps, and everybody in the theater, I'm saying, with so much happiness, it just gives me so much happiness just to say this, that scene where all the fishermen come with their boats to rescue people. And when Kunchako Boban's character says real life heroes, that's the scene where I really got goosebumps, and everybody unanimously in the theater were clapping and hooting and whistling for. And so many times they whistled for Tovino's character as well, the kind of heroics he showed. uh, so yeah, the list is
everyone.
very long. Yeah,
Everyone got a cheer, in their
yeah,
introduction.
the list is very long of favorite scenes, but
One more scene can I highlight? Last thing before
yeah,
you
yeah,
go to comments. That I did feel that at the very beginning, the contrast that was there between the state of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, one where there was rainfall and heavy rainfall, and one there was drought. I think that contrast was also
yeah, yeah,
quite
yeah,
well done because they were
beautiful.
one after the other. It
Yeah,
was
as
one
so
after the other.
So one was in Madurai Highway, the truck driver's house where the little kid is enjoying the rain, and then the other one. So that is, I think, that is the director's vision and his genius, right?
Absolutely.
The way he thought out and visualized those things. And again, another important character of that truck driver. I forgot the name of the actor.
Kalaiya Ras.
Yeah, so his change of heart, and how from being this arrogant little prick, how he drives his truck and doesn't give a damn when he takes out the side mirror of that journalist's car. And then to bring about that change of heart into him, so organically also, like, it didn't happen overnight. It happened in due course. So that was amazing. Anki Harsh Shah says, "Hey guys, I'm sure I saw both of you in the opening credit of FC Front Row for this movie."
So we
Opening
were
credit?
sitting. So we were probably sitting. I think what she's asking is where were we sitting in the in the FC first row? Probably we were sitting somewhere in the middle in the right hand section. In the middle
Yeah, yeah,
towards
we were there.
towards
Yes.
yeah. So we were sitting there in case you saw us. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. We never expected we'd get recognized there, but yeah. Thank
Charan says that salute scene again. Yes, goosebump moment when the army guys gives out a huge salute to Tovino's character when he successfully transport the pregnant woman and
you. Yeah.
her daughter up to the helicopter. So that was again, that it just suddenly put a smile on our faces. I think that's the power of that scene that it had. uh okay, important comment from Georgis, if that's how the thing is pronounced. So do you think the that our movie scripts are now being hijacked by right wing ideas, Farhat?
So I just would like to say one thing. Okay, let's put an end to this discussion because all films are welcome. There's no problem in if anyone wants to say something, say it. It's okay. It is a democracy at the end of the day. Let's agree to disagree, and that is it. Let let's not get very emotional with such films. It's okay. Every film is welcome, every opinion is welcome. It is a very diverse country. It will have to be multiple people with multiple opinions. You can't silence everybody. You agree to disagree and mind your business. I think that is half the battle won already. You Once you are agreeing to disagreeing, that means that you respect the other opinion also, but you do not go. So I think let's not get into right wing, left wing. I think cinema is free from all of that. If there are films that are propaganda, like Anurag Kashyap put out a tweet today, it was today, yes, that no film should be banned based on whether it is propaganda, counter propaganda. All films are welcome, and that is the sign of healthy cinema. All films should be made. All sorts of films should be made. The fact, if it's made technically well, I will also give a good review despite not agreeing with the politics of the film. I have
Hmm.
done that earlier. It should be a good film at the end of the day. That is it. Nothing more,
Yeah,
nothing less.
look, they also made Delhi Crime, right? Again, they use the name Delhi Crime, but doesn't mean that the film was about everybody from Delhi, it didn't target a particular community in Delhi, or put blemishes on them. The Urta Punjab, another good example, another good, well executed film. So when you make films about a particular area or community or state, or of course there has to be a fine line, that a balance that should be there, rather than just highlighting one side of the coin, rather. uh, Anyway, so and also, no film is perfect. Every film will have flaws. Even this one, 2018, I'm not saying it's the perfect film. Yes, it could be a favorite film, but there's a difference between a favorite film and a perfect film. So, Farad, I think in your review as well, you highlighted a couple of points where you thought, you know convenience was
Yeah.
kind of given priority. So, so now, which are the areas that you thought could have been better in the film?
I felt that at certain points, I felt that the writing did get slightly convenient,
Hmm.
which was not necessarily a bad thing because the emotions were so powerful that it overrid that.
So, where
You,
exactly you are saying it was?
I had two things, two instances that are there. One, the character of Asif Ali,
Mm-hmm.
the transformation that happens is far too quick,
Okay.
which is okay. I understand why it happened that way because the focus was not on his character transformation.
Hmm.
But it did happen too quick. Ultimately, it did happen too quick. It happened within scenes. In couple of scenes, he was in on their side. Second instance, if you remember, towards the end, there was this sequence in which they go to search for a family who's been submerged inside the ground, and with the help of a mobile phone that is there,
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
they you search for that, and all of a sudden the mobile phone runs out of battery.
Hmm.
So in
No,
the
and,
at the very last scene, you see that they are rescued also. How did that happen?
yeah,
All these.
I think when that was happening, I pointed it out to you that how can they possibly follow the ringtone, because they are buried down somewhere, and I think they can much rather shout more, with more impact than a little speaker, that too old phone,
Yeah,
the speaker out of that. So I think,
with
yeah,
the
so that
rain,
was my issue as well. No,
with
but
the rain is what I said.
yeah, Shelley is saying, oh no, politics has creeped into an Indian film industry. I think politics has always been a huge part of Indian film industry for years. So I
choose to ignore it. It's
Yeah,
okay.
and she's from US, so you could understand how she wouldn't know. But so anyway, now before we wrap up, we have to talk about performances.
We
Uh,
need to even talk about some of the technical details, like
yes,
the
yes. So
sound.
we'll
Yeah,
start with the acting department. So, which was your favorite performance of this film?
it's hard to pick one, to be honest, but the heroic efforts were mostly in the character of Tovino and
Hmm.
up to an extent Asif Ali. Apart from characters of Lal and Naren, all of them had heroic qualities, but the moments, the action set pieces that gave you goosebumps were the ones featuring Tovino Thomas.
Hmm.
And so his performance definitely did stand out. You were invested in his journey. um, there was a little bit of a character build up also that was there right at the beginning with his character. Also, I think the character of Kalaya Rasan, the transformation was very good, very well handled. All It's actually such a beautiful thing that even a 2.5 of film like 2018 has character arcs that are playing in the second layer. This
Hmm.
with the main focus definitely being on the devastated floods that are there. You still have those small character arcs that are there in every character, even if they are for a very short screen space. And that is something that was the brilliance of the writing that was there. The writing was quite brilliant
Yeah,
here because of small character arcs.
and not just writing; it's also casting. I mean, to get these
Hmm.
people right for those characters, and again, as you said, the supporting cast. Literally, I'm so 32 people are watching. I can tell you guys, yesterday we were at the screening, and in the Q&A after that, when the cast and crew were talking, they spoke highly about that little kid who played AB. The way he was screaming, and his performance at that time, they felt that it was so real that it kind of drove us to do our job even better. And he was so friendly as well. Like Tomino literally told us an incident when he has to perform CPR on that uh, boy's character. And in between the scenes, when they would take a break or something, the kid would tell him that please do it little slowly. So just it tells you that how everybody was so much into their characters.
Yeah, and he also mentioned that there were so many actors ranging from the youngest to the eldest.
Yeah,
And there was this 170-year-old actor,
yeah.
veteran actor also, who was there a part of the film. And it makes for such a wonderful, viewing that is there.
Yeah, he told, like Tomino said, that there were times when it felt very uncomfortable. It was very cold. We were submerged in water most of the times. Working hours were so different. Like it was from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And at times he thought that where the hell have I got myself into? Like I was better a software engineer. And then he would see that 70-year-old actor who was doing the job so dedicatedly. And that's something that kind of drove him as well to do his job with more sincerity as well. uh, Ani says Tovino was volunteer in 2018 flood relief work, and no wonder. I mean, the I'm sure that was again that must have been a reason for him to be able to say yes to this film, because he said when I read the script and when I heard the narration, he said he cried multiple times. He had tears in his eyes multiple times. So I'm sure because he had this personal memories as well, having seen the floods and being a volunteer in 2018, that would have played a major impact. Now coming to the technical aspects, as you said, we should absolutely talk about the music and the sound design of this film. I mean, luckily I happen to know one of the people who worked in the music department, Don Vincent. He did the additional background score, and I think the main guy behind the music was
Nobin Paul, I think.
Nobin. Yeah. So absolute brilliant score. Like as a musician, I can tell you that was it's very difficult to get the right notes for a disaster film like that. because sometimes you can overdo it, sometimes you can under utilize as well, because you want the sound as well to do its job. But here they got it, like the balance was so perfect. Like the helicopter scene you mentioned, that uh, it was loud enough, but also the music was doing its job as well. So that's what I think. Again, I think it's the director as well who would have given them enough confidence, and also the freedom, the creative freedom to do what they want to do. Even the songs, if you remember, the songs are also well placed, and it
Yeah.
never, in a film like that, first of all, you can also do without a song. Like in Malyan Kune, I can't remember any song, or even if it was there. So in a film like this, where you can do without song, yet the songs were very very well placed and very well utilized, and it was also taking the narrative forward in a way. So and good songs also, like it's not like just songs were there for the sake of it. The songs were pretty good. uh, and now coming to other
So,
technical. Huh,
so before that, in the sound department, another observation was that if you notice the rain that I had mentioned, that
yeah.
the decibel levels go on increasing as the
Hmm.
movie progresses without getting too overbearing. I think that was one perfect landing of a sound department that was there. That the intensity of the rains also were getting increased with the
and
decibel level.
and for that exact reason, I wanted to choose those seats where we sat, because if we would have been more on the right or more on speakers on one end, the rain. So when the theater mixing is done for every film, that's it's called the Dolby mix. When it's done, so everything is in the surround sound. You mix it in a way that every speaker has a few elements playing. So if we were little on the right or little on the left, so those elements would have been heard more. That's why I wanted to choose the middle center seats that we got, and uh, therefore the experience. And coming to other departments, we already talked about how well the VFX were, but I think VFX is something that comes out later. First, it's the cinematography, and they talked so highly about their cinematographer, because he was somebody who was almost 99% of the film he was submerged underwater to get everything. And they said that when he couldn't do it, the director himself took the camera and took the liberty of shooting some stuff. So
Yeah,
I mean, I think if there is, and I'm sure everybody worked hard, but if there is somebody who literally worked blood and sweat on this film, it's the cinematographer.
absolutely. And some of the shots are claustrophobic. It's almost claustrophobic, but also poetic at the same time. The frames that was set, I think it was outstanding. And
Mm,
the this is in a way an event film. It may not have the same impact on OTT on your small screens
absolutely
as
not.
impact on the big screen with the sound that Keshav was talking about. And I think that a lot of credit has to go to the cinematography as well. It
Yeah,
was standing with the position of the frames as well. There were
yeah.
no one takes or anything, but the position of the frames very well set. Uh, it almost gave a impression that we were on like a bystanders in that full sequence of survivors or underwater when if you are submerged. I think that was something that was also
Also, another fact, Tovino told that the same cinematographer shot his short film in 2011.
was a
So look,
director.
look, look how far these guys have come. I mean, from doing a short film in 2011 to now doing major mainstream films in Malayalam industries. I mean, it's the testimony of their hard work. Uh, Wes says Lal's character was an idea by Pierre Gill, Canadian cinematographer. That this is what Jude Anthony said in an interview, and he also mentioned the Jurassic Park scene, right?
Yeah.
He said when the glass of water tumbles. So, and he actually thanked all his idols, and the people that he has grown up watching across world cinema, not just Indian cinema. That this is a tribute to all of them. This film that he has made. Shelley says,
And
I'm loving the dedication to the craft. Can't wait to see 2018 in a theater. Would it be too much to hope for a freaking Blu ray for this one?
if the producers are watching it, do release it also. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if they have Sony Live back in the US, but that's the I think that's going to be the OTT platform. But I really hope for you that it comes in theater because it's an out and out theatrical experience.
It is.
38 people are watching. Please press the like button. It only helps us reach more and more supportive film lovers like you.
And one other word on the editing, I would say the editing was also outstanding of the film in every sense of the word, because the events here were almost unrelated to one another. But you, at no point did you feel that this is like a disjointed film at any
Yeah,
point in time. The editing was so sharp.
yeah.
One word for the editor also. Editor was outstanding. Editing, I think this was how editing should be. It is not, people normally associate editing with the length of the film. No, it's the linking between one scene to another is what the editing is actually,
An
and that is
editor,
something that's brilliant.
an editor can make or break the film, as they say.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
and and if I'm not wrong, this guy was also the editor on Kala, the Tovino film. So
Tovino, yeah.
so yeah, so they have worked together before, and again, uh, of course, huge kudos to the editor, because it's in a film like this, where so many characters are there, and so many things are happening. The timeline can be confusing for people at beginning, because in the beginning, you kind of get to introduce to all those characters, but to keep it near fashion and make it easy and simpler for the audience. And I think that's where, again, it's the director and editors win. uh, Before we end this, Farad, any parting thoughts for 2018? I think they are releasing it in other languages
Mm.
on 12th of May. It's coming in Hindi as well. So I really hope that. I think this is the kind of pan India films we need. I mean, I really hope people in North India go and watch this film, and they also see this side of Kerala, right?
Yeah,
Because Kerala story is doing very well across India, especially North India. I think in a couple of states it's also running tax free. So I really don't want people from other parts of India to just see one side of Kerala that they are being exposed to. I really hope that the more footfalls for this movie is, the more I think people will come to know that this is also what Kerala is and can be, and majority of it is like that, right?
I would say this should be an aspirational film for the entire country. From the action point of view also, like how our action should be, helping one another,
Yeah,
helping humanity. Unity in diversity is something that we were told when we were growing up, not dividing by religion. That's not the India that I know or I have grown up in. And I
and
think, as you said, it's right, that I hope this film reaches as many people as it can across the globe, because it's a well made film. At the end of the day, it
yeah,
has a good message, it has a brilliant message at the
and
end.
it somewhere reminded me of even My Name Is Khan, like how the film was about humanity and compassion and empathy, and uh, the good part was that, again, that was also well made film, well executed, very well acted. Again, in this film as well, you cannot really pinpoint any department that fell short. So yeah, so uh, as YouTubers, or as wannabe critics or whatever, we it's very easy for us to talk about the filmmaking aspect, but this film is beyond all that,
Yeah.
because it has that uh, timeless message,
Mm.
which everybody can learn from. And that is why it's it cannot be a coincidence that every YouTube video has
The
the
same.
tagline called the real Kerala story, or the true Kerala story. Even Tovino or other people from the cast and crew, whenever they are sharing the stories on Instagram, I have seen the hashtag the true Kerala story. So and if you remember yesterday at the screening, somebody actually shouted the real Kerala story, and everybody clapped on that. And even there was a little wry smile on the cast and crew's face. So they are also aware of uh, the competition that the film has in terms of box office and footfalls. And as they said, it's the word of mouth that will help the film go a long way. And 43 people are watching. I'm sure they all resonated with the film the
Guys,
same
please
way we did.
subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel as well, Popcorn Reviews on YouTube. I have made a video also. Check that out as well.
Yeah,
And do support this film. Okay, do support this film a lot. Such films should be promoted
yeah.
for
We
just the love emotion that is.
see. We always say Malayalam cinema is probably the most advanced in our country among all industries in terms of the content or the technical aspects of filmmaking. But this film is, I think, more than that, as I said before. And this film is not just about uh, a certain community, or just about a one incident that happened in 2018. This film is about humanity, and we I think more than any other time we need it the most right now, uh, because of the other films that are getting more footfall. So Sham Mohan says some cameraman was not
They did not take the film because it was
yeah.
very hard for them to
Yeah, they
shoot.
mentioned it yesterday. They said so. Yes, again, this is, thank you for pointing it out, because this another anecdote from yesterday. The director said that when I presented the idea to another DOP, he said this cannot be done, and he challenged me. And he said, I like it when I was sure that I would get this done anyhow. So yeah. So anyway, I think Farad, we have covered most of the things that we wanted to. It's all heartfelt, because just yesterday we saw the film. The thoughts are so raw, and we had to speak out
Yeah.
loud about this film. And I'm sure in coming days I'm going to have more guests on the channel to talk about this film, because uh, that's all. This is what, at least this much is what we can do from our end. And we are doing that from whatever our capacity is. And from you guys who are watching, what you can do is share this video with your friends, and put a like button, leave a comment. And that's how this will help us spread the word about this amazing film. Anurag says true and real Kerala story, and we'll agree with that and end the stream with that. It's almost an hour. 40 people are still with us. Thank you so
And
much
there's
for
another
watching.
comment. There's another comment.
Oh, Niv says, what do you think Malayalam industry should do now to reach at the same level of Telugu or Tamil industry have achieved in spite of all the great content? I'll tell you my theory on this. So I am an independent musician, okay, and I know how much the competition exists out there in the market with mainstream music, and other so many artists doing music. But I have always maintained that good music always wins and finds its audience. And in the last 1 year, I've seen that with results, because I have been continuously releasing uh, good independent music as much as I could. And that's what I think Malayalam industry has been doing for so many years. They just doing their job with utmost honesty, and the focus is on the content and not anything else. And that's what they should keep doing. And I think ultimately, they're they're in the long race, like in the bigger league. They're not thinking for instant or sort of any sort of validation. I don't think they're looking for that. And once the reward would have to come, they would come in due course of time. All they have to do is just keep at it, keep going. Everybody who understands even a sliver of cinema or filmmaking, they know how ahead they are in the race of other industries. So yeah, just keep at it. I think that's the answer. But anyway, Farad, you have anything to add to that, or we should end the?
I think it should just be good cinema at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Again, let's not divide it between Malayalam, Kannada,
Yeah,
Tamil,
good
Telugu.
cinema,
Good cinema.
good intent and honesty. That's all.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. We'll be back soon. And if you enjoyed this, please press the subscribe button if you have not subscribed yet. Go to Farah's channel as well. The link is in the description.